You've got a small leak.
Hey you lot, Brass Polish here. When people look back at Season 6, the episodes that tend to get ranked the lowest are Newbie Dash, for being an underwhelming end to the Rainbow Dash becoming a Wonderbolt arc.
What she said.
Cart Before the Ponies, for being predictable as hell and portraying AJ, Rainbow, and Rarity shoddily. 28 Pranks Later, for being even more predictable as hell and having skewed messages.
A prank isn't very good if you're the only pony laughing.
Where the Apple Kicks Me in the Nuts, for being a disaster.
Telling lies won't fix anything. Trust me, I know.
What could you possibly know about it? You've never told a lie in your whole life.
And Applejack's Day Off, for being boring? Predictable? I'm not falling for it, guys. I love this one.
Oh, Rarity. I guess I missed the whole day. I sure am sorry.
She looks like a plastic bag.
Applejack and I haven't had one of our spa days in ages.
People said this wasn't set up in any way, as the only pony we know who had spa days with Rarity is Fluttershy. But the thing is, these spa days with Applejack were few and far between due to her busy schedule, so there's no need for much preamble.
Had so much to do.
Why don't you go on ahead and I'll meet you there?
The first thing I love about this episode, demonstrating the element of harmony Applejack represents in a subtle way. Words along the lines of honest and truth are seldom uttered, and none of them are from Applejack. It's so refreshing. Applejack wasn't lying there, she was just uncertain. Hence why she phrased that claim Jeopardy style. It's clear as a bell from that one line how torn she is between her devotion to duty and her desire to bond with her shipping partner.
Busy taking the harvest to market. This list pretty much covers everything you need to know to feed the pigs.
Step 1, navigate your way through all the booby traps in the bedroom. Step 2, dump the victim's bed into the pen. Bish bash bosh, job done.
Involved, I am 100% on top of it. Okay, Spike, ready with that list?
People complain that there were no Twilight episodes in Season 6. That she was always sharing the starlight with Spotlight. I mean, sharing the spotlight with Starlight. Well, firstly, Starlight wasn't even in half the season. Though she should have been. Second, what do you call pony point of view then? Yes, a good chunk of it was devoted to the flashbacks, but you can't deny it was Twilight who carried that episode. Speaking of pony point of view, I got so fed up with people assuming Applejack's story would be how it really happened. There's a difference between truth and fact, you know. It was never a question that Applejack's account would be just as skewed as Rarity's and Pinkie Pie's.
Relax. Rainbow Dash, what are you doing here?
I do not understand people grumbling about Rainbow Dash's small role in this episode. It's been deemed pointless filler. First, she's the one who sets up the spa's backup that day, as their massage and hoofacure appointments aren't ready on schedule. Second, this is just another great example of Rainbow Dash letting go of her inhibitions, like how she gave reading a shot in Read It and Weep and balled her face off in Tanks for the Memories. And with this example, no one really gave her a boost. Twilight encouraged her to open up a Daring Do book. Fluttershy gave her the slap to the face she needed to accept Tank's departure, but these frequent solo trips to the spa came right out of nowhere.
Too bad Rainbow Dash just hates those frou-frou spa treatments.
Well, that was visually pleasing.
Wait.
Rarity! My favorite customer. And Applejack?
It's a shame Aloe doesn't have that smooth, calm voice she had in Castle Sweet Castle anymore. Given that Lotus already has a foreign accent, I don't get why they suddenly made Aloe Hungarian. Couldn't they have given that voice to that new spa pony who let Dash know that they were behind schedule? And what's weirder is it's the same VA. Tabitha St. Germain plays Aloe in both this episode and Castle Sweet Castle. I'd have thought VAs would keep tabs.
My steam.
Without steam, a steam room's just a room, and I've got plenty of those at home.
At first I was intrigued by this cameo appearance of Diamond Tiara's mom, but by the end of the season I was naffed off that her parents had more development than her. When Season 5 ended, there was no doubt in my mind that they would expand upon Starlight's reformation in Season 6, and sure enough, she had a damn strong start. I never doubted they'd do the same for Diamond Tiara, but both opportunities they had this season went completely to waste. Not even one f***ing line. So as much as I'd like to see Pinkie Pie spend a psst with her other sisters, because that was totally set up in Gift of the Mod Pie, my Season 7 wish list is for a Lightning Dust comeback and some expansion on Diamond Tiara's reformation.
Enough steam? That must mean there's not enough hot water.
Oh, Applejack, honestly.
There's one mention of honesty, and it's from Rarity. I never even noticed the first time I saw this episode because they're not actually on the subject of being honest. Not like every other appearance Applejack makes this season. This scene only lasts about a minute. Quit your bitchin'.
My time here isn't a total loss.
Despite the jarring change of Alo's voice, I love the interaction between main and background characters in this episode. It's the perfect balance. I, like everyone else, loved Slice of Life, but I much prefer when the main characters interact with the side characters. It makes the setting feel rich and alive.
The answer is no.
I won't deny, it's pretty stupid no one noticed that leak until Applejack did. And it could have been easily fixed by the storyboarders and animators. That's really my only complaint about this episode.
It takes just a little longer to build up, and while ponies wait, they get cold.
I don't think the punters getting cold is the problem. It's the fact that they'll likely complain. I swear, I went to this cafe once for breakfast and it took 8 minutes for them to get me my drink, and the waitress would not stop apologizing the whole rest of the time I was there. I left a 20% tip as my way of saying don't worry about it. I would agree that this montage takes up a little too much time as well, but let's face it, duct tape's always the last resort.
We don't have any time left to use it. Honestly.
Yeah, you really can't count those utterances of honestly, because they're not meant literally.
Just so many other things. Lucky for you, Applejack is too stubborn to relax.
I find Applejack's stubbornness can be done either well or annoyingly on this show, but in this episode, I love it. I know how it feels to make plans, no matter how small, and know exactly what you want to do, and if something prevents it, I go off my hinges. I don't doubt it's a form of OCD, and I'm convinced Applejack's got that. It explains her rigid adherence to tradition that she has a lot of trouble being flexible with, and it's a perfectly good reason why she opted to spend her hour off making sure that she could do what she always does.
Assuming everything went well so far.
Oh, Applejack, honestly.
Okay, it's starting to get on my tits, Rarity. Wow, that didn't take long.
We're following Applejack's list to the letter.
Does that mean Applejack usually has someone holding the other end of the rope? Say, Apple Bloom?
Sometimes the simplest things can just derail a whole operation.
There's a side of Applejack I love to see. And I think the fact that we don't see her goofiness very often is part of what makes it so special. Also, it is so refreshing to see some pony else on the receiving end of chicken jokes.
Was actually making things worse.
I see no one holding the rope. Twilight, you are a clot.
I guess it's possible to get stuck in a routine where you're doing all this extra stuff and not realize it, but I can't for the life of me think I have.
A lot of people said Applejack was being stupid, but 1, this is another demonstration of honesty without the hammer to the head. Applejack's not lying, she's just ignorant. 2, the point is the realization. Whether you figure out that you're doing something redundant in your regular routine on your own, or someone points it out to you, you know it should have been obvious and you feel like a moron. That happened to me when the painters moved my desk to the middle of the room. For months afterwards, I'd go around one side of my desk and put my night clothes on top of my shelf because the cupboard I usually kept them on wasn't there anymore. And then I went around to the other side and grabbed my daywear from on top of my shelf. I felt like such a shithead when I finally realized I didn't have to make 2 trips around my desk. And it was this episode that encouraged me to think about the way I've been doing things so I can cut out anything unnecessary and most likely avoid embarrassment. And sure enough, I found a few. It's thanks to this episode and A&Y's video about fair use that my episode reviews are now only around 10 minutes long. Firstly, I needed to know that playing source material in its entirety is not cricket, even if you critique and joke over it all. I got suckered by all those blind commentators. And I managed to reduce my editing time by cutting out the middle step with Audacity and learning Sony Vegas' audio keyframe function. And yes, it felt weird saying that. The bro analysis community has ruined that word for me just like the show ruined the word rarity for me.
Rarity is the key to their exclusivity.
What could this ham and cheese sandwich without the cheese and bread possibly have to do with this instrument of world destruction? Ugh.
2 of these left.
I didn't realize there were any problems.
Having a friend look at what you're doing with an outside eye can really help.
Where's the damn journal? I don't like kid shows that bluntly state the moral at the end, but I accepted it with this show because there was a good reason for it. They started out as letters to Celestia, who gave Twilight a mission to learn about friendship in her new home, and then we got the journal they started writing for the benefit of future generations. But in seasons 5 and 6, they don't really have a reason to spell it out. I guess we can assume the lessons become journal entries, but you'd think we'd see some pony writing in it every so often. Without it, simply saying the moral is just hand-holding.
Sometimes a girl just has to pamper herself.
Jesus, Rainbow Dash, why'd you have to be so adorable this season? That'll be it then. I'm Brass Polish, thanks for watching, thanks for 100 subs, and...
Just be honest with them.
I still don't like Applejack.
It is
My
true.
brother's got a pig, and that's very true of that one.
Yeah, they are very endearing animals. Of
Tell him
course,
to be careful, though, because I knew a farmer that had a heart attack while he was feeding his pigs, and they ate him.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm afraid.
Don't want to get into a pen with one that's approaching sexual maturity, as I know to my cost.
Really?
Yeah. It's basically like
How are the piglets?